Hello everyone, today I'm going to be turning Costco salmon into sushi, sort of like sushi grade that you can eat raw. This video is mostly inspired by Photogami, and he's the place where I was able to see that you're able to do this with farm-raised salmon. So don't try this and then get parasites and blame it on me, blame it on him. So here's the salmon that we're going to be using. It's important to be using farm-raised salmon because it doesn't have parasites apparently, or there's a less chance for disease and that sort of stuff because it's in a controlled environment. In order to make the salmon, it's a relatively simple process, so it's important to make sure everything goes right. So I'm going to start off by sharpening my $15 fake Santoku that I got from Marshall's and then convert it into a Kiritsuke by cutting off the tip. And if you don't know what any of that means, just don't worry about it, and I'm going to show you how to sharpen it using whetstones that you're supposed to use for a chisel. I don't know if that makes a difference. And also, these grits are way too high. I do have 1,000 grit, but I didn't want to start there because I'm lazy. So this is more just like honing, and it did make a difference, but it's not hair popping sharp. This is not a sharpening tutorial, by the way. I have no idea what I'm doing, as you can see by my form going through the whetstone. Anything above around 1,000 grit, you don't really want to soak it. You kind of just want to wet it up, and you can see right here it's dry as fuck. But that's okay, because I'm going to wet it up in a minute.
Yeah, boy.
I don't really know the angle you're supposed to be going at. I think it's like 2 pennies or something. Mine varies, as you see. It goes from like a half penny to 16 quarters in angle. So just don't follow what I'm doing. You can find a YouTube video. Vincent from Corin has a whole series on how to become an expert. So go check that out. I'm just doing this out of formality. Here I just switched to the 8,000 grit so you can see how that's gonna go. And finally just check to see the sharpness on your nail, making sure it's consistent. Now that your knife is sharp, we can start by cutting up our fillet from Costco. This is the Kirkland brand salmon fillet. Make sure it's farm raised, it's not wild sockeye. I think those are the only two that Costco carries. As you can see, farm raised, $25.67 is pretty good. So we're gonna see how much we can get back in our value. See how sharp that knife is now, cutting through that styrofoam and that saran wrap. It's pretty good. I won't lie, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And we're just gonna flop the fillet down and give it a little smell test. I gotta blur this out because I don't want you guys being a little weird. Smell test is important. If it smells fishy, do not do this. Do not continue moving forward with the video. Additionally, you can see me coming in close, and you see all those gaps and crevices where it kind of looks like a stepped on apple or something. That's called miware, I think. That's how Photogami says it a little bit. And that just means that it's pretty much bruising. It's bruising of the fish, it's damaged meat, makes it less quality. This was literally the only one I could find at Costco. Like, everything else was so much worse. So we can settle with that. You can see how the fillet split into 2 thicknesses. There's a thicker side and then there's your thinner side. The thicker side is, I actually don't know the proper terminology. I'm gonna just call it the loin. And the thinner side is gonna be your belly. The belly has those more vertical fat lines, while the loin has more of a herringbone type of style of fat striations, I guess, going on. So we're gonna slice it in half in order to separate those 2 portions, and then slice each part into a saku block, which is what's traditionally used to create your sashimi. You can see I'm just trimming off any excess, and no, none of that is going to go to waste. It can be used for other things, and I'll be going through that in the recipes following. You can see how nice having a sharp knife really makes this process significantly easier to go through. Now I'm just going to repeat this for the other half of our fillet. So this is actually a really good turnout for what we got. I wasn't expecting this fillet to be very good, but our saku blocks are looking pretty good even before the cure. It's time to cure it. Curing it is going to give it its firmness and more of that sashimi feel that you're used to with more sashimi grade saku blocks. I think this is also a safety measure. I think curing it helps cook it a little bit. I don't really know. Yeah, so don't follow this guide if you're, I don't care about not getting worms in your stomach like that one lady who ate raw pork. Anyways, we're gonna start the cure off by laying out all our fillets on a wire rack, or I don't have one, so I'm just gonna use a tray. Please use a wire rack, it dries it out better, and then you don't have to use as many paper towels as I will. And then we're gonna sprinkle on some sugar. I'm using some like organic white cane sugar or something. I don't think it really matters what sugar you're using, you're just gonna throw it on there. I don't know why we use sugar. Yeah, I actually have no idea. I'm pretty sure most cures are salt based, but this one involves salt and sugar. So we're gonna do that to both sides. It may be a flavoring thing. It could also contribute to the texture. Now you can see me pulling out some salt out of this orange container. I don't know why it's in there, but we're gonna sprinkle salt on, and this is what's gonna really do the curing. And the cure is very, very quick. It's not a long process. We're not drying it out completely. Salt helps draw out moisture, and that's our main thing that we're trying to achieve by doing this. You do not want very much moisture in there. So you're gonna get both sides, make sure you get the end tips as well, and we're just gonna throw it into the fridge for around 45 minutes. Alright, since I'm teaching you guys how to actually make food, we're gonna need some rice. And I'm going with some medium grain rice, so that we can flavor it with some rice vinegar, and have a good couple of recipes with nigiri and like a poke bowl type of thing. So we're gonna wash our rice. You guys know I'm against this. I don't really believe in it, but I'll do it for the general public so I don't get ridiculed. But just know, if I ever get a bigger following, I'm gonna start doing it my way. But we're gonna just wash it a couple times, drain out the starch. Actually, medium grain rice is very starchy, so I do actually recommend you probably should wash it. Alright, so now I'm going to add in some water. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was like a 2-to-1 ratio or 1-to-2 ratio. So 2 cups of rice, which is like 4 cups of water. Make sure you don't mess this up because it'll mess up the rest of your recipes. That's just a little bit of solid foreshadowing. Here I have some sushi seasoning, and now I realize where I made the mistake here looking back at this. I was used to using, yeah, you can see me reading the bottle here. I'm used to using rice vinegar, but this is rice seasoning, so it already has the sugar mixed. If you bought rice vinegar, then you mix it with sugar and heat it up in a certain ratio. But this actually ended up being both of them mixed together, which is insane. I should have just gotten that from the start. Yeah, here's my old bottle of rice vinegar. Yeah, so don't make the same mistake as me, or do. Like, there's no risk involved. Actually, go get the rice seasoning. Do not get the rice vinegar, unless like you know what you're doing, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm mixing everything in my my rice cooker pot, because I don't have that big wooden thing. So, yeah, I think that also helps cool it down and helps spread out the rice granules. And now I'm realizing how I fucked up the rice. I added way too much water, and now it's all sticking together. And that's gonna come out later when I start doing the nigiri. Your 40 or 20, whatever the fuck, minute timer should have been done by now, and now it's time to wash off the fish. You can see all the liquid on the bottom there. I'm gonna do a little close-up real quick. That's all the water pulled out from the salmon, and that's the way we like it. But now we're gonna dunk it into more water. So get yourself a bowl, fill it with cold water ideally, and we're just gonna rinse it. Be gentle with it, you don't wanna break up the fish, but you can really see in the video how the color has changed. It's gone a lot darker as the liquid has been drawn out, And when you wash it under the water, you can really feel how much firmer the texture is. And that moire that we were worrying about before is less noticeable, but it's still there. So you can still like feel through it, but it's not gonna make as big of a difference depending on your application. So you really just wanna wash out the salt and sugar out of here because we did add a lot. And I'm gonna give it 2 baths because that water got kind of murky, and I recommend you should as well. It's important to dry it off after each wash on a wire rack. I don't have that, so I use paper towels. So now I'm prepping for my second wash, laying down about 24 Bounty double layer paper towels, which is extremely good for the environment. I didn't mean it, and then I also wrapped every single one in a paper towel. So please don't comment on that. I don't have a wire rack, I'm sorry.
Sweet cheese in your snitching ass, twin.
What y'all think about the stuff Kanye's saying right now? Any Kanye fans out there? Just wondering.
Oh my God! Like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now? Can we?
This is the end of the curing process. Your salmon's done. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm gonna show you 3 ways on how you can use them. And yeah, just stick with me because I need to make dinner and I'm really hungry. All right, for dinner, I'm gonna make this 3 ways using 3 pieces of the fish. I'm gonna use the loin or whatever it is, and then a solid saku block of the belly, and then a couple of the scrap pieces of the belly. So starting off with the loin, I'm gonna cut vertically, just straight up and down, in 1/4 to 3/16 inch widths. I don't know what the metric is for that, so don't worry about it. If you're even metric, I don't know why you're watching this. But yeah, so we're just gonna continue with that. You can see how the knife is actually doing its job right now. It's not actually that sharp. You can see like at the very corner, but don't look that close. Yeah, so this is actually looking really good. I think this is one of the best ones I've ever done. This is my 2nd time doing it. I don't know if I said that already, but it's looking pretty good. Moving on to the belly, I'm gonna go for more of like a sideways, like kind of diagonal cut, following the belly fat, and this so that we can get a wider angle, even because it's a very thin, not very thin, but it's thinner than what it should be. And by having that flat side, we can get more surface area, more soy sauce, more seasoning, more rice. That honestly looks extremely good looking at this close up right now. Like those fat bands are perfect. This is actually my first time doing this, and those knife skills, I know y'all see it. I know y'all fucking with it.
I laugh at you, bro. Nah, nigga, you in my life, nigga.
Alright, so now these are like kind of the scrap bits. You saw me trim this off the fish earlier. And we're gonna cube it up and we're gonna use it for a little spicy mayo, sort of poke bowl type style dish. So literally just slice it up and then cube it. Now we have all our salmon pieces cut. We can start with plating and getting ready for what I'm actually gonna eat. Alright, first I'm gonna start off with the nigiri. This is my first time ever doing this, so don't listen to me like I'm an expert. So I wet my hands first, I put too much water, and I start to realize that the rice is way too sticky and wet. And essentially you're just gonna get like a 45-gram ball of rice, and then grab your fish, put it on there, and sort of shape it. That 2-finger trick helps get that like long length to it. And damn, that looks pretty good. The rice is way too sticky. It's almost turning into like mochi right now. But using the 2 fingers to lay it down, and then you're using your thumb and your middle finger to press in the sides and give it that height. And honestly, I'm doing pretty decently. If you ask anyone else, it would probably be awful, but for my standards and the first time, this is not that bad. The form gets a little bit worse as we keep going, but it's not awful. So now let's zoom in, take a closer look. You can see I'm making a small ball with the rice, laying down the fish. 2 fingers to kind of flatten it out. Not too hard because I put too much water and the rice was just turning into dough. And then flatten the sides in order to create some vertical height. Now I'm doing it with the piece from the loin. And that's enough. I'm gonna do the rest off camera. So let's work on this cubed pieces of salmon. I'm gonna add a little bit of QP mayo. And then we're gonna add, I don't have any like sriracha, but I found this in the back of my fridge. I think it smelled like sriracha, so I'm gonna add it, but it's spoiled on the top. So I just got a piece that had no mold on it, and we're gonna add that in. Then we're gonna add the most traditional soy sauce brand, and that's gonna be Kiko-Man. Don't fall for any of that expensive soy sauce stuff. It's all marketing and gimmicks. And then we're just gonna mix it up. I added a lot of that moldy sriracha, and it's pretty strong in there. And it doesn't really have that like you know when you go to Poke Bowl and like they use the fake shit, and then it looks like a certain way. Mine doesn't look that way. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll find out. And then we're just gonna lay this over that rice that has way too much water and is turning into mochi. It doesn't look that good because I don't have any like green onion or literally anything else. So I can't garnish it. I don't have any nori, but that's whatever. And that's dinner. Have to keep the big bag tree going. Oh shit, I forgot. So for the nigiri, I'm gonna just glaze everything with a little bit of soy sauce. Get that shine going. It's looking extra good now. I don't have any wasabi, but I wouldn't have gone out of my way to get any either way. I think wasabi on sushi is a little bit overrated, but I've never had like real wasabi. Have you guys? Like, how do you get that into the US? Do you have to import that, or do they sell that at your local grocer or something? Anyways, here's some mid-tier B-roll. Alright, now I finally get to eat. This is gonna be my, well, not my real reaction, but my reaction to me eating it last night. And I'm not gonna lie, like, you can't tell me not that piece actually looks really good. Besides like the rice grains all fusing together. I'm really sorry about the chewing noises. That could be kind of weird. It was weirding me out. I was trying to like overdo it so the camera would pick it up, and the camera mic is surprisingly sensitive. Had to go in for a second bite here. It was actually really good. Going in for the nigiri, I was gonna try this little loin piece. To me, it tasted really good, but I think I should have left it in the fridge after washing it. So it didn't need to cure longer, but it needed to be in the fridge a little bit longer just to firm up. For some reason, it had like a weirder texture, and I think that's literally just on me. The taste was pretty good. Not like crazy quality salmon, but it was definitely better than like conveyor belt in like the middle of a belt mall or whatever. Now the belly genuinely really surprised me. The belly was insanely good. It had the exact same taste as the type of stuff you get from a real deal omakase. Maybe I'm pushing it, but when you do it at home, it does taste better, and it tasted really good. And now I'm gonna try my little poke bowl that's only salmon and rice. And this was actually really good. The sriracha had a weird flavor. but if I use regular stuff, it would taste even better. But it still tasted pretty good. The salmon honestly carried. Alright, so now I'm just going to pack up the rest of the stuff. It's pretty simple. You just wrap it in a paper towel, make sure there's no moisture on it, and then keep it in the freezer. I don't remember how long it lasts. I think Photogami said like 30 days. I don't know how that's gonna go. I'll try it out. I'll keep you guys posted, see how long it lasts in my freezer. But yeah, you just freeze it up and put it in a Ziploc bag. But since I have your time and your attention, you can click away if you want. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video, as well as my last video on the katsu curry. I got a lot more support than I was expecting, and it was very interesting reading all your comments and seeing your guys' perspectives on what parts of the videos were interesting or relatable. And that really motivated me to pump out this video, and I'm hoping the quality is a little bit better. I did invest in a tripod, so that's why the angles are, in my opinion, pretty decent. So please give me recommendations how I can improve it. I'm not going to buy a mic anytime soon. I don't really want to. But this is probably as good as it's going to get for a little while. So please let me know what food recommendations you want me to try out. Any other genres. I mainly like cooking. I feel like this is my only way to express this medium is through YouTube. So I plan on continuing it. So if you guys have any recipes that you want me to try out, just hit me up. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I really appreciate the support on the last video and hopefully this video as well. Yeah, so I'll see you. Bye.